Look again, dill hole, hound, whatever you want to call yourself. Right? Do you think I'll wake up every morning and say, "Oh, I think I'm not going to clean up my room today," or "I think I'm not going to clean up my house"? No, no. As I get up, no matter what I do, right, within a few hours I start feeling pain. And, right, right. Now, I've been on all kinds of medications off and on since I fell. Mm-hmm. And when I first fell, I was 170, jackass, right? Donkey, mule, whatever you want to call your stupid, stubborn self, right? When I was 170 pounds, I tried to work, right? I tried to do a labor job, right? Couldn't do it. I even tried working at Little Caesar's Pizza as a manager. I lasted about a week, right? Couldn't do it. I even tried, uh, you know, a tire place where they would have these big old truck tires. And for the first week, I hung in there a little bit, but the second week, I couldn't hang anymore, right? And the dude let me go, right? You think I just woke up, saying one day, "Oh, well, I don't want to work anymore. I don't want to do a job," right? Or did I know, right? The more strenuous I put on my back and ankles, right, the less I can work, right? Jackass, right? Donkey, mule, stubborn butt, whatever you want to call yourself, right? Now, right? I also don't wake up every morning wanting to insult you. So why are you insulting me, right? You think I want my house messy as it is, right? No sane person does, right? And if you're disabled, no, it might bother me more than you think it does, but I can't do nothing about it, so I let it go, right? I also pray to Jesus about the arthritis pain. But see, that's the weird thing. It's in part of the pain is in my sacrum or lower back, right? And right now, even laying in bed, I'm feeling mild pain, not doing a damn thing, not even moving around hardly, and a little bit in my left foot. I don't know why. All I did is get up and pee like a normal person, right? Sometimes I have to sit on the toilet because I'm not sure if I got to go number two. It takes a little longer than pee usually. Anyway, I don't know about you at home, but I can pee quicker standing up than I can, again, going number two, right? That usually takes about the same amount of time I was in Meanwhile's bathroom at home. But we went over Thanksgiving, by the way, too, right? One takes longer, by the way, going number two. Especially during the holidays when you might be a little constipated or don't drink enough water. Right, right. I mean, like I said, I think we had something at my sister's new place in the area she lives in, but it ain't nowhere near where I live, right? Like I said, right? but anyway, that's beside the point. But do you think I just woke up one day and say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to even bother to clean the house," and that's all it is, right? Though I've been trying to keep the house clean, right? My body won't let me. And are you a doctor? Do you know what it's like to have traumatic arthritis in your joints or pain from a broken bone, right? Now, the only way you can know is to ask your doctor. Are you a doctor? I mean, not just like an orthopedic doctor. You gotta be a specialist, right? Today, right? Right. Ask one of them if someone breaks the bone, right? Do they have traumatic arthritis, idiot? Don't assume because you're lazy, I'm lazy, right? And what I mean by that is you're assuming without listening to me, no matter how many times I show you my x rays, anything I'm dealing with is normal, right? Even the sacrum, how the hell did it break just because I fell 3 stories, right? All they told me initially was I had some kind of vertical shear of the pelvis. They didn't say nothing but about the sacrum, but that I had pain in it, right? Not why. They didn't tell me I broke bone, right? Because usually you're paralyzed, like the paralytic or the guy by the pool. Retard. I mean, what I mean by that is you're slower than a person born mentally ill who can't learn. As I was diagnosed when I was a kid myself, right? But guess what? I learned. I overcame it, right? Some people can, right? You apparently can't listen, right? Is there crap in your ears? Is there shit in your ears or something? Excuse me there, YouTube. This person is acting like they're so warped, right? So beyond it understanding of an injury, right? That I've told them since day one I had, right? And they insult me and tell me, clean up your house. Well, to me, that's an insult. Because why? I don't know. I'm trying to, right? I'm trying to do what I can do every day. And I bet I still exercise more than them technically because of the disability, right? Especially before I fell. I can probably keep up with them or outperform them physically, right? And not that it really matters, but I think, I'm not sure, but either somehow, right, I got a letter from uh, George Bush, not the one in 2000, but the one in 90 to 90 or 88 to 92, right? For Clinton, right? Got in, right? Whatever it was, right? The first George, right? To become president after Reagan, right? Remember all that, right? Right. That also means I'm more congenitant than you and mentally able to do things, right? And hear voices, right? So did most of the prophets of Israel, by the way. Right. And like Paul, none of the others heard Jesus, but Paul did. But Paul did, right? And when Jesus was baptized, John the Baptist didn't hear, right, God say, "This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased," right? Jesus did. Jesus did. Now, Peter, James, and John did, right? When Jesus transfigured into 2 other people plus himself, it's just 3, right? Well, didn't 3 appear to Abraham and Sarah, right? And tell Sarah she would have a baby, right? A year later, right? And Isaac was born, your progenitor, right? I think one of them was a woman. Yeah, no. Are you surprised? See, the first image just was called androgynous or both. That's why you're not to make graven images male or female, retard. And I've been telling you this is for 15 years. You're acting stupid, right? You're acting brain damaged or something. What did your dad's member, which this is what you mean, right? When having sex with your mom hit your head or something? When you were in the belly of your mom? I mean, you're acting like you do not understand something that I understood as almost as soon as I read it, right? Now, the god Hermaphroditus, right, is not as well known in the scientific field, right, as an orthopedic, for example. Right. But they do exist, right? It's called an endocrine disorder that deals with human beings born with both the genes of a male and female, right? Guess what? You don't have both genes, right? Some of them can be triple X, XOX, XOXO, right? And that's not hoods and kisses. It's a gene, right? In the sperm and in the egg, right? It's the only way you can have it, by the way, right? Now, I don't think the female can produce XY eggs. I don't know about that, right? But she can produce XO, and so can the male produce XO, right? And XY and XX. I don't know if they can produce X or Y, though, right? That's like a whole new species, right? Or a whole new gender, right? Do you know why? We're not the same. We're not the same. Almost looks like if the angels did have sex with the daughters of men in Genesis 6, that Satan was the leader of the rebellion, not some other dude named, what was it, Samuel or whatever the hell, right? Satan was the original rebel, right? Not some other angel around the time of the flood, right? After Satan fell and daughters were born to men, right? Myths of the gods having sex with them, right, started in Greece, right? As well as what Moses said about it. The Samaritans have tales of the gods coming down and doing the same. All of them do. But aliens, scientists, don't mean they weren't created like we were either, right? See, if you create something from nothing, you can make all sorts of creatures, both celestial, like our sun, and terrestrial, like the planet we're on, right? Now, we are composed of elements, right, from the earth, which are in the earth itself, ain't they? Ain't they? Right. That's what Moses means when he said we were formed from the dust or matter of the earth, right? In a specific combination. We're not randomly put together, right? We're specific elements in the earth, right? Moses didn't really say all this, right? But we know better now. Why? Knowledge is increased, like Daniel said it would, right? And now, Christians, we're not to seal the seals, which you're doing still, right? We're to unseal the seals, as John said at the end of the Book of Revelations. But you're still sealing them like the Jews. You're sinning a great sin. You let Orthodox Christianity take over like Orthodox Jews did their own religion. They're no longer following the true law of Moses. They made their own oral traditions based off of rhetoric, right? What they think the law means, and added to it, like Jesus said, the commandment of men and not of God, right? The only one we know dealt with God personally is who? Moses. You Orthodox Jews aren't following Moses anymore, right? Call yourself what you want, right? But Moses also cursed you. That's your problem, I know. You're not listening to the law either, right? If you don't keep all the law, you're cursed. That's why Jesus came, was hung on a tree, which also is a curse, right? Like Paul said in Galatians, Christ was cursed for us to take away the curse of the law, right? Breaking it, dumbass, right? jackass, mule, donkey, stubborn, butthole, right? All the above, right? Asshole, right? That's part of your body, by the way. You have a gluteus maximus, right? You have a butt you sit on. You could call it an ass, a butt. It's another word for it. It's not a sin to say a different word for a different body part or the same, right? Now, usually you call your elbow an elbow, for example, right? I'm trying to short to you. Oh, okay. I know. There's right now, right? My elbow was always called my elbow. But some people rename the butt. It can be called gluteus maximus, which is what the muscle is called under the skin. It can be called an ass, right? Because it's your rear end, or the rear end, right? And your face is your front end, by the way, right? Some things can have two names, though, right? Or more than one, right? Your feet can be pedo and not feet. A podiatrist, not a pediatrician. Hear the words there, pedophiles? If you love children, you're a pedophile. Not a pedo. Pedo has to do with feet. Retard. Is that how stupid you are? You don't know the Greek. At all. You keep calling me a foot file, a foot lover. I'm not a foot lover. Nor a pedia lover, which is children's. You call a children's doctor a pediatrician. Because they is doctor children, right? Nutrition, right, has to do with being the doctor that takes care of children, right? Pedia, by the way. If someone's diddling little boys or little girls, they're called a pedophile, not a pedo. Unless you love feet, too. Now, I don't mind massaging my wife's feet or my girlfriend's feet. Well, like I said, right? The only way I don't know I'm with someone is if someone blacks me out or knocks me out. Otherwise, like every other male, I have a healthy fantasy life, right? Now, the difference between me and them is I tell you, right? And I read the whole Old Testament. If Moses said you're only unclean until evening after masturbating, which is how he would say it in modern vernacular, right? If you're by yourself, like he said, and you're seeing a copulation come out of you before eating, right? Now we know if you're by yourself, you're manually stroking it, right? And Moses didn't say all this detail, but it's implied, right? Right. You know if it's before evening, right? When you do it, right? You're awake. Two. You just came in from the field. Right. Now, if you have a wife, is he saying do that instead of your wife? Well, actually, he said you can do both, right? But technically, if you have a wife, you can be with her. If you're single, you can handle your business, they say, by yourself. You don't need a wife yet. You can't find a wife yet. Though you're waiting for someone, right? Like all people, we can't all just snap our fingers and find someone. Either you're all rushing to date, which is another reason someone else can't find someone. Everybody else is busy looking for someone else. Or like me, people are stuck at home because they can't get out much. Or don't want to, right? And I ain't ran into anybody who's acting seriously like they want to do anything but have a one night stand with me up to now. Right? Well, the one night stand means you come to my house, we have sex, and you leave, right? And I never see you again. Right? That's a one night stand, right? The thing is, I don't remember a one night stand since Molly V, right? Though that was a 2 week stand, right? In other words, I met her, she came down twice, about a week each time, right? And then left. And got weird after we had sex, right? What kind of friend does that, right? She's the one who wanted to be friends with benefits, and then we had the benefits because I said we're in a relationship, and I thought friendship was a relationship too. That's how I checked, Molly, right? Ain't a relationship also friendship, right? Or am I wrong about that? I don't know. Plus, once you have sex, it's an exchange of DNA, right? Even if I don't get you pregnant, I had you to wife, technically, right? Though you're not legally my wife, that requires the ceremony and going down to the courthouse and getting the license to get married. Now, technically, I could marry someone, right? But we still gotta go and get the court, you know, license, right? To actually, for you to be married, right? Now, I can get, my church's little certificates too, right? But to be legally married, you need to go down to the courthouse, even if you're gay, right? Trying to show up at a Christian church is against their religion, right? And if my religion, like I said, I don't believe I'm a cake designer, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't believe 2 men or 2 women should marry, right? I have a right to refuse service depending on what, you know, you want me to do, right? If you want me to put 2 men on the top of a cake and I don't want to do that, that's my religious belief. I can say no, I don't want to do that. Go to another cake store. You got to go to another cake store because there's other cake stores, right? That would do it, right? If I'm a Christian cake store and you know it, don't come into my store, right? Asking me to put 2 men on a cake, I won't do it. It's against my religion. I don't have to do it. But if someone will do it for you and you come to my store, you're doing that in spite, right? You can't do that either, gay people. That's equally wrong. And 2 wrongs don't make a right, right? Now, the thing is, though, like I told you, I believe Jesus wants us to forgive even the sin of homosexuality. But the problem is, you're not supposed to do it anymore either, right? The Bible's written where you're supposed to repent of the evil deeds and learn to do all the good deeds. Well, technically, having sex with the same sex produces, again, no offspring when God said to be fruitful and multiply, right? That commandment has not ceased since it said it, right? If anyone's having the problem with the planet and the overpopulation, it's us, because some Christians won't use birth control, right? The problem is the Bible don't say you can't, right? Men are. When men add to the commandment of God, the commandment of a man, and God didn't say nothing about it, right? I know. Nor did he say a father has to keep his daughter a virgin, right? And you can't forbid people to marry Catholics, not even your priests or your antichrists. And adding to the commandment of God a false commandment of men. And Paul warned that's Antichrist. And you know that's Antichrist, yet you do it anyway. Yeah, Jesus also said to call no one father, and you do that anyway. Right. I know We're not the true father. The Spirit is, right? We're not the true mother. The Spirit is. It made us from the matter, fool. Both celestial matter and terrestrial matter. Whatever that means for the angels as well, right? They're higher than us because they're closer to a more gaseous type, fiery type element, right? And somehow they're alive, right? When Daniel or Isaiah or Ezekiel saw them, right, he's describing both creatures that appear to him like Ganesh in the Indian belief, right? Part animal, part man, right? Well, even the Egyptians do that. So you can't critique people, right? If you describe an angel having four faces, right? And some of them say their God looks like an elephant that's kind of humanoid, right? You don't know what God is telling them their angels look like, right? But what I'm also trying to teach them is the image of the angel is just like yours, an image of one of the celestial beings, right? Who came to earth and impersonated God, right? They're not God, right? Either. They're creatures like you, but of a different elemental structure, right? However, we were made from the earth. They were made from the gases in the air, right? Which would also explain why we can't see them. They're also probably in a different dimension anyway, right? The fourth, the gaseous dimension of life, right? Because we're a solid, liquid, and gas. I don't know if there's a watery element, right? But we have seas and creatures in it, inland, right? Though the sea creatures are similar to the land creatures, except they can breathe the water in the sea. Right? Fish can. Mammals like us are also in the sea. And since God created everything, there's a pattern, right? The dolphin and the shark, though one's a fish, one's a dolphin, right? Look similar in design, don't they, right? Because our designer designed them too. Right? It's not rocket science, it's not design you, right? You can take parts of a similar thing and put them in another thing, right? And it survives, right? Or the other one dies and you can take parts from it and put it in it, right? Like with your cars, when it breaks down, right, and you made the car, right? You designed it, right? When you take parts from a car that's broken down, you put a new part in, right? To fix it, right? And then it's supposed to run like new, right? Well, when we die, we can give our organs to other human beings, right? And they can survive. Even your heart, right? Or your lungs, right? Or your spleen, or your kidneys can be taken from one human and put in another, right? Even your blood, if it matches the type, right? Crazy Jefferson. This is God didn't say that. Adding to the commandment of God, the commandment of men means you're misinterpreting the scriptures. Now it said not to drink blood, right? But it didn't say nothing about blood transfers. Right? Now, if you don't want to be treated, fine. But your children, right, until they have the faith, need a doctor. Right? I heard of this one little girl who died because her crazy parents wouldn't get her help she needed. Right? From a doctor, a pediatrician, who could have helped her figure out what was wrong. Right? And see, faith works even with doctors sometimes. And sometimes Doesn't matter what the doctor says, like with my situation, right? If you should be paralyzed and you have arthritic pain, you can go deal with that every day, right? I'm not lying in bed because I feel like it. Or am I? Or am I? Meaning I'm hurting a little this morning. I'm laying in bed this morning and shooting a video from bed. You bitch when I do it from my bathroom, like that's unusual. They do movies with people in the bathroom, dumbass. Anyone can do it. You don't have copyright over someone shooting in their bathroom. Cause why? We all have a bathroom. We all have a bathroom. See, you can't copyright certain things. If you understand what I mean. If something's a fact, you don't own that fact. That fact was a fact before you discovered it was a fact. Right, by the way. If you find an element, you didn't know it existed, right? Until you found out about it. But guess what? It was always there. It was always there. And some dumbass philosopher asked, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? Yeah. You don't have to be there to hear it. The earth itself will feel the impact in a way. You know what I mean, right? When the tree hits the ground, right? And it will make a sound, dumbass, jackass, donkey, which are words for an animal. You're acting like Balaam's donkey or jackass, right? As King James called it, right? As Peter called it, I guess. The interpretation of the Greek word for donkey, whatever they use, by the way, is what King James called it. An ass. You know. Right. Yeah, yeah. But I'm not stubborn. You're coming from the law. I'm reading the law. You're not. Right? You're adding to it the commandment of men. Everybody have in the game. The joke's the word. What do you think he's about? Stroke me, stroke me. He's even receiving masturbation. Or he's wanting to. Stroke! Stroking something. You put all kind of metaphors and things anyway. Why not masturbation too? How do you know it's masturbation? You're doing it before evening. After you get off of work. You're awake. And you gotta wash after everything your semen gets something, right? Is what we could call it today. Mine don't get everywhere. I don't know about yours, but anyway. Cause you're not reading the Bible. Men who teach commandments from men go to hell too. Just as quickly as those who don't believe, right? You're worse than an unbeliever because Jesus can't tell you messed it up, buddy. Right? You got the wrong idea. I never said that, right? If Jesus can't tell you that, I don't expect you to listen to me either. Why? We're stubborn. You're calling the stubbornness of Satan faith. They're not the same thing. One is by the word of God from a prophet who's seeking God, right? And done told you what you could and couldn't do, right? When you add to it, you're taking away from what the prophet said. Yeah. Like they're, again, not wanting to help their parents in their old age as you're supposed to, right? And building on a little house for them, right? To take care of them as they're getting older, right? Now, that's both parties, the wife and the husband's responsibility, and even the wife's family is supposed to be taken care of too. So that means 4 people, right? The elderly, right? You're supposed to provide for, right? In their old age and help them as they get older, right? Or you're not understanding what it means, right? You're not going to put them in a nursing home. But if you do, like I said, right? You know we're doing that now, right? Grace also covers you when you make a commitment, by the way. Now, another commandment is you have an age of consent. Well, the Bible kind of does it, right? Actually, right? But the girl does have to be mature enough, at least in her teens, right, to have a baby. But we don't know how old the Virgin Mary was who had the Christ child. It was rumored she was between 14 and 16, which is probably why in Georgia the age of consent is at least 16. At least it was when I was growing up, or that's what I was told, right? And I checked the law to make sure I'm legal. Now, your problem, Christian, is Moses said about premarital sex. And Paul can't change it, by the way. No, he can't. Or he's being a false prophet too, right? He's not greater than Moses who gave you the law, idiots. Nobody is. Nobody is. But if you're going to follow the law, follow the whole law. What Jesus said is well, ain't it, right? Or you're giving God lip service, right? The Bible simply says if you entice a maid or a virgin and you lie with her, as I tried to do with all my ex-girlfriends, right? Even if they had a man, I tried to get him to break up with him and be with me. Even if they didn't want to, I understood, right? I let him say. Why? It's sex. It's sex. You can have premarital sex, and it's only prostitution if you pay for it. And even that can depend on if you're just giving them a 20 or something, right? To buy some food or something.